ship drifted ashore in Ireland with no trace of the crew. Welcome to the latest issue of Top Secret. Amid the dense fog off the coast in the 1920s, a strange sight appeared. The ship silently drifting, devoid of people, meals still untouched on the table. Coffee still steaming in cups, as if the entire crew had just been swept into an invisible portal. That was just the beginning of a series of mysteries about ghost ships, where the line between reality and nightmare blurs. Where even the most skeptical must pause before inexplicable stories. Join Top Secret in exploring the most mysterious ghost ships in history. Our strange journey begins with an astonishing discovery on the coast of Ireland. Imagine a lone ship suddenly appearing out of nowhere, drifting onto the peaceful shores of the Emerald Isle. Its appearance left local villagers both curious and uneasy. The waves seemed to gently lap against the ship's hull. But the ship was completely silent, with no signs of life. No captain giving orders, no crew moving about, the ship was utterly empty. Even stranger, upon boarding the ship, a peculiar scene unfolded. The interior of the ship seemed frozen in time. The dining table was set, food still intact as if the crew had just left moments ago. The ship appeared like a scene from a ghost story, yet there was no trace of anyone on board. The entire crew had vanished mysteriously, leaving no clues behind. Only silence and a mystery that remains baffling to this day. No one could stop wondering what happened on this ghost ship. It's a puzzle that keeps us pondering late at night about the unexplainable. MV Alta. Next is another story, no less thrilling, about the MV Alta, which caused a stir when it was discovered off the coast of Ireland in 2020. MV Alta is a 77-meter cargo ship, carrying a mysterious and bizarre past. The ship was built in 1976 and had sailed across many oceans, under various names and owners. But the identity of its last owner remains a mystery. MV Alta's fateful journey began in 2018 when it suffered engine failure en route from Greece to Haiti. When all repair efforts failed, the crew was rescued by the U.S. Coast Guard. But instead of being towed to a nearby port, the ship was left adrift in the ocean, unmanned. This unmanned ship continued drifting alone across the Atlantic for nearly 18 months. Facing storms and rough seas, its exact whereabouts remained a mystery. In February 2020, a shocking discovery occurred. MV Alta, thought to be lost forever, was found drifting ashore in Ireland, near Ballycotton, County Cork. No one was on board, only a silent ship carrying mysterious tales of its solitary journey across the Atlantic. Carol A. Deering. Our mysterious journey continues from the cold waves of the Atlantic, around the coast of Ireland to near the American shore, where Cape Hatteras holds the story of another ghost ship, Carol A. Deering. This was a 5-masted schooner, first appearing in 1921. Such a ship was not unusual at the time, but the strange part was when it was discovered. There was absolutely no sign of the crew on board. The ship ran aground in an area known as Diamond Shoals, infamous for its danger, with fierce waves and difficult navigation. However, what was even more terrifying was the scene on the ship when found. The ship's galley was prepared, as if a meal was about to be served to the crew. Their personal belongings remained intact, but the lifeboats were missing. There were no signs of a struggle or resistance. And all equipment was broken, including the ship's log, which was also gone. Thus, the crew suddenly vanished and never returned. Over time, many theories have been proposed about the crew's disappearance. Some believe it was a mutiny on board, or a smuggling operation gone wrong. Others believe a fierce storm swept them away. And there are even theories suggesting supernatural intervention. Each hypothesis adding another layer of mystery to this already bizarre story. However, the biggest question remains: where did the crew go? And the answer remains an enigma, making Carol A. Deering one of the ocean's most mysterious tales. Continuing the journey from the pristine beauty of Ireland's coast, we move to the warm, clear waters of Australia's Great Barrier Reef. Here begins the story of the SS Kars II.
A story full of mystery that has puzzled maritime experts for years.
The SS Kars II was a small yacht, 10 meters long, setting sail on a peaceful April day in 2007. The boat carried 3 crew members, intending to have a relaxing trip, lasting 2 months along Australia's northern coast. However, just 3 days after departure, the SS Kars II was found adrift at sea. With no clear purpose or direction, when investigators arrived, they faced a strange scene. The dinner table set for a meal, a laptop open and still on, and all the ship's emergency systems were functioning normally. But strangely, there was no one on board. The crew had completely vanished as if sucked away by an invisible hand. Despite thorough investigations, no trace of the 3 men was ever found.
Theories about their disappearance are incredibly diverse.
From a large wave sweeping them out to sea to bizarre speculations about them being abducted by a UFO.
Despite many years passing, the disappearance of the SS Kars II remains unsolved.
And this ship is now known as the famous ghost ship of Australia's Great Barrier Reef coast. Its story continues to be one of the unsolved mysteries of abandoned ships at sea. SS Cotopaxi. The story leads us to another legendary ship, the SS Cotopaxi.
Named after a towering volcano in the Andes, this ship set sail in 1925,
carrying 32 crew members and a load of coal. Its destination was Havana, but unfortunately, the ship never arrived. Without any warning, the ship and its entire crew suddenly vanished as if swallowed by the ocean depths. The story quickly gained attention, with many believing the ship had fallen victim to the mysterious Bermuda Triangle.
The mystery of the SS Cotopaxi's disappearance gradually became a legend in maritime history,
adding to the eerie tales surrounding the Bermuda Triangle. However, in 2020, an unexpected discovery changed everything. Wreckage of the SS Cotopaxi was found off the coast of Florida,
sparking a new series of questions and challenging previous supernatural theories. These wreckage pieces indicate the ship encountered a sudden storm and likely sank shortly after.
The crew unfortunately perished, and the ship was buried under the deep sea.
This story now carries a tragic ending instead of an unsolved supernatural legend.
SS Euromedon. The next story is about the SS Euromedon, a Dutch ship that stands out among other ghost ships.
Due to its peculiar condition,
in 1947, distress signals from this ship echoed through the Strait of Malacca, alarming authorities. The signals reported that the captain and crew were all dead on deck, with a haunting final message: "I die." The entire Dutch crew had died, their eyes wide open in horror,
their heads raised as if trying to fend off an invisible enemy.
The dog on the ship was
Also found dead, frozen in a similar state of terror. Moreover, no one can determine the cause of the victims' deaths, making this mystery even more inexplicable. Strangely, the SS Euromedon then suddenly caught fire and eventually sank to the seabed, taking with it unsolvable secrets. This eerie story ended abruptly, much like the distress signals that had been sent from the ship, leaving behind a cloud of unanswered questions, theories, and supernatural speculations. We continue our journey through a story full of mystery, which occurred in the frigid Arctic waters in 1775. At that time, a whaling ship accidentally discovered a site that sent shivers down the entire cruise line. Not only because of the bone-chilling cold, but also because of the Octavius, a ship believed to have been missing for 13 years, now strangely reappearing.
Octavius, that ghost ship, was drifting aimlessly in the vast expanse of the Arctic,
like a phantom gliding over the cold, white snowy ice.
As the whaling crew approached and boarded, an eerie silence enveloped them. There was no sound, no life. Inside the ship, the sailors were dead, but their bodies seemed preserved by the bone-deep cold of the Arctic.
Those who boarded found the captain's log, recounting that after a successful voyage through the Northeast Passage, the ship had become trapped in ice.
Despite being trapped, Captain Octavius did not give up. He had charted a course toward Portugal. But unfortunately, both the ship and its crew fell victim to the merciless Arctic waters.
The captain was found seated at his desk, head in hand, as if he had just written a final message.
The scene was chilling and sorrowful, like a frozen testament to the icy fate they endured. The story of the Octavius, with the image of sailors frozen in death and their lives preserved through the years, remains one of the most haunting legends of the Arctic seas. Particularly, the image of the captain and his final log, hastily written with a frozen hand, leaves a big question. What terrible thing did the ship face in those frigid waters? Continuing the story, we will come to one of the greatest mysteries in maritime history, the Mary Celeste. This ship was an American brigantine launched from the coast of Nova Scotia in 1861. On December 4, 1872, the ship was found adrift in the Atlantic Ocean, with no one on board. It was discovered by the British brigantine Dei Gratia, and its crew was astonished to see the ship still in seaworthy condition. Despite there being no sign of anyone aboard. Adding to the mystery was the Mary Celeste's cargo, particularly the undamaged alcohol, along with the crew's personal belongings still intact on the ship. Even the ship's logbook was not lost, and the last entry was recorded just 10 days earlier. Yet, the big question remains. Where was the crew? There was no trace of the 10 people on board, and all search efforts could not explain their disappearance.
The disappearance of the Mary Celeste has led to countless bizarre theories and legends.
Some believe they mutinied, others think a sea storm attacked, or even that mysterious sea creatures like sea monsters caused the tragedy. There are also speculations that they were abducted by aliens, though no concrete evidence has ever been found. To this day, the name Mary Celeste remains tied to one of the greatest maritime mysteries.
A testament to the unpredictability and strangeness of the vast ocean.
The SS Waremu. Let us move to the southern hemisphere, where another maritime mystery haunts the history of ships. This story took place in July 1909, when the SS Waremu, also known as Australia's Titanic, began its final journey.
As a luxurious passenger ship, it was famous for its extravagant amenities.
The SS Waremu was en route from Sydney to Cape Town, South Africa, with 211 passengers and crew on board.
However, this giant ship never reached its destination.
On July 27, the ship sent its final message and then mysteriously vanished without a trace. Despite numerous searches over the following weeks and years, no wreckage of the ship was ever found.
The theories about the disappearance of the SS Guarantor are diverse.
Some believe it could have been a freak wave or a massive storm that swallowed the ship. Other hypotheses suggest the ship may have had a design flaw making it prone to capsizing, leading to this tragic incident. Whatever the reason, the story of the SS Guarantor remains an unsolved mystery, making it one of the unforgettable maritime legends. The El Cuchi ship. Continuing our journey, we head toward Chile, home to a ghost ship legend full of mystery and intrigue, the El Cuchi. The story of El Cuchi is not just about an abandoned ship, but a mystical tale that transcends reality, where the supernatural blends with the tangible. According to Chilean lore, El Cuchi is not an ordinary ghost ship, but a mystical vessel that can move underwater and change shape. The ship is said to appear every night, gliding through the strait area, glowing in the mist with eerie lights and ghostly melodies. Even stranger, the ship is believed to have a dark mission. It lures sailors, causing them to meet their demise on board, with the aim of recruiting new souls for its ghostly crew. These souls belong to those lost at sea, and thus they are trapped, forced to serve on the El Cuchi forever.
These mystical stories have been passed down from generation to generation, and each time El Cuchi is mentioned, the tale becomes more mysterious and haunting than ever.
This ship is not just a ghost ship, but a sentient entity with its own power and inexplicable schemes,
making it one of the most terrifying legends on the sea. as we delve into a world of ghost ship stories and maritime mysteries.
One of the most famous ghost ships in nautical lore emerges, the Flying Dutchman. This ship is not tied to a specific historical event or a verified shipwreck, but instead has become part of the world of legends and oral traditions. The Flying Dutchman is a cursed ship, doomed to sail the oceans endlessly, never able to make port. The story begins with a stubborn Dutch captain, who, in a bold attempt to round the Cape of Good Hope during a fierce storm, swore to continue his journey until doomsday.
It seems the universe took him at his word, and from then on, the ship was cursed, forever unable to return to shore.
The Flying Dutchman often appears to sailors as an omen of doom, with a ghostly light
surrounding the ship, especially during storms.
Although it is a legendary ship, there have been many reported sightings of the Flying Dutchman over the centuries. One notable witness was King George V of England. When he was a naval cadet, he claimed to have seen this ghost ship. The story of the Flying Dutchman lives on as a symbol of humanity's struggle against uncontrollable natural forces, reminding us that some seas should not be challenged.
The story of the SSBMO is a maritime tale that reads like a dramatic adventure full of suspense.
Built in 1914 in Sweden,
the SSBMO was a steel cargo ship used to transport goods, mainly livestock, from the Inuit East settlements along the Victoria Island coast of Canada's Arctic region.
However, on October 1, 1931, the SSBMO met a strange fate.
Fully loaded with cargo, the ship became trapped in ice, a common phenomenon in Arctic waters. The crew temporarily abandoned the ship, seeking shelter elsewhere. But when it returned, the SSBMO had vanished, as if swallowed by the ice and snow.
The end there. The SSBMO didn't. With many reports from sailors at sea of seeing the ship adrift and abandoned.
Many who were lucky enough aboard confirmed the ship was empty. But every time a rescue was organized, the ship would mysteriously disappear. The SSBMO has become one of the oldest ghost ships in maritime history,
with its last confirmed sighting in 1969.
To this day, the final location of the SSBMO remains a fascinating mystery,
making many curious about the ship left behind, forever adrift in the Arctic waters.
A journey through ghost ship stories cannot overlook the RMS Titanic,
the ship of dreams. Although not a ghost ship in the traditional sense, the story of Titanic carries a peculiar weight in history,
surpassing many other ghost ship tales.
Launched in 1912, Titanic was the largest and most luxurious ship of its time,
a technological marvel of humanity.
But ironically, it turned out to be the ship's final voyage. On its journey from Southampton to New York, Titanic struck an iceberg, creating a large gash in its hull.
Despite the extremely dangerous situation,
the initial reaction of the crew was disbelief that this ship could not sink.
However, the cold waters of the Atlantic quickly flooded the compartments,
sealing the fate of over 1,500 passengers and crew.
The sinking of Titanic was a major disaster,
so unbelievable that it has echoed through generations in history.
Over 70 years later, the wreck of Titanic was discovered on the seabed,
and since then it has become an immortal symbol, recreated through countless stories and films. Titanic is not just a ship, but a ghost ship in its own story, reminding of human arrogance and making it one of the most horrifying tales of the sea. The story of SS America begins in its glorious era,
when it was one of the most highly regarded ships of the American shipping line. Built in 1940, this magnificent ship transported passengers and soldiers across the Atlantic during World War II and afterward.
However, like many other ships, with the rise of aviation, SS America fell out of favor. In the 1990s, SS America, under its new name American Star,
was sold with plans to convert it into a luxury hotel off the coast of Thailand.
But fate had other plans. The ship encountered a severe storm in 1994 when it broke free from its tow and drifted aimlessly toward the Canary Islands. After several days, American Star met a tragic end when it ran aground off Fuerteventura, marking the demise of a once famous ship. Finally, we come to the story of SS Valencia, the ship that met a tragic fate on a cold January night in 1906. Off the coast of Vancouver Island, the ship, en route from San Francisco to Quito, was swept away by bad weather and fierce waves. Despite the crew's best efforts to salvage the situation, the ship struck a coral reef, creating a horrific disaster.
SS Valencia quickly sank, and over 100 passengers and crew lost their lives in the tragedy.
Years later, reports of ghost ship sightings and distress signals from the wreck area
only deepened the haunting legacy of this maritime disaster.
Although the SS Valencia disaster occurred over a century ago,
the mysteries of ghost ships have never truly become a thing of the past.
This story reminds us of the danger and unpredictability of the sea. The journey to explore ghost ships at sea has ended with such mysterious and haunting tales. If you found this story interesting, explore more captivating videos.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button for the channel Beyond of Ale 0707 so you don't